In a sport obsessed with tradition and distance, second acts are rare, but somehow Tiger and Bryson wrote one together.
Focus on it, really focus on it, even making this putt, but I knew I still had a job to complete. And I learned it from Tiger that the job's not complete until you hold that final putt on 18. And so when I made it, I was like, internally, I got chills in my body, but I said, calm yourself down. You got to finish a hole. You got to finish a hole.
I think he can do it still. He's going to have a tough road to beat us youngsters, but you know, he's got that grit and fire in him that he's not going to stop until he gets it done. So I wouldn't put it past him.
He'll always be part of the game, Bryson said at a December press conference. His tone equal parts conviction and confession. Every time someone picks up a club, they're chasing Tiger. And for once, that didn't sound like imitation, it sounded like legacy. Maybe that's the point. Maybe chasing Tiger was never about beating him, but about carrying the torch he lit.
And Tiger, just stoic as ever, you know, and I've been texting with him a little bit, but shook his hand and just like nothing. There was nothing. He just look at you.
He just blocked
That's
everything
crazy.
out,
Like,
huh?
walk right past you like you were nothing.
He's probably the most influential figure in the game of golf. He is the most influential figure in the game of golf right now, and I think he deserves to play in the majors. He's done more than enough for this great game, and he continues to give back by playing in these tournaments and trying to win. He wants to win. He's a competitor, and I think that's admirable.
As the sun dips on 2025 and a new season rises, Bryson DeChambeau, the scientist turned storyteller, stands as living proof that shadows aren't always dark. Sometimes they're the glow that keeps a legacy burning bright. And there it is, the message that rocked golf's golden halls. Bryson DeChambeau didn't just defend Tiger Woods. He rekindled the myth, rewrote the rivalry, and reminded the world that legacy doesn't fade, it roars back. Two men once divided by leagues, now reunited by loyalty. This wasn't nostalgia, it was legacy. Bryson's entire approach to golf, the physics, the formulas, the endless chase for perfection, wasn't rebellion, it was respect at the highest level. Every data experiment, every bold par 67 comment that got him roasted online, every obsession with distance, all of it traced straight back to Tiger's blueprint. So when the 2025 Masters wrapped up without a win, Bryson didn't pout, he mirrored Tiger. Never let failure define you, he said with a half smile. That was the real takeaway. The scientist had finally mastered the artist's greatest lesson, resilience. So when Bryson later stood tall defending Tiger's right to play, it wasn't politics, it was personal. It wasn't strategy, it was pure sentiment. The echo of that 12-year-old kid still burned inside him, the one who sat in front of a glowing TV, watching a legend freeze time and swearing he'd spend his life chasing that same fire across fairways. Paris 2018, Le Golf National, the Ryder Cup stage, the wildest, loudest arena golf's ever seen. For Bryson DeChambeau, this was baptism by fire. His first taste of golf's biggest battlefield, where silence turns into thunder. But this wasn't just any debut. It was him and Tiger Woods, the GOAT, the myth, the face that once stared down from Bryson's bedroom wall, now standing beside him, real, breathing, and almost too human to believe. Tiger told me to take the first tee shot, Bryson later admitted. Half laughing, half reliving the panic. The French crowd wasn't quiet. They booed, loud and ruthless. One deep breath, one violent swing, and boom. The ball rocketed off his club like a missile, 300 yards dead center down the fairway. For one shining second, it looked perfect, until it wasn't. The match started falling apart like a bad dream. Europe roared back, Team USA froze, and Bryson's confidence cracked under the heavy weight of that flag on his chest. Their pairing got crushed 5-4 by Francesco Molinari and Tommy Fleetwood, Europe's unstoppable force. Tiger looked drained, like the magic had slipped through his hands. Bryson looked shattered, cameras caught him staring down at the grass, jaw clenched, eyes wide, every inch of him screaming disbelief. The rookie had just learned the hardest truth. Greatness doesn't always mean victory. Inside the US locker room, the air was thick with silence, blame, and confusion. Pure poison. But out of those ashes, something unexpected started to form. We were thrown into the fire, Bryson later told Newsweek, but that's where I learned the most. He realized Tiger's quiet wasn't coldness, it was control. He watched how Woods wore humiliation like armor, moving through chaos without a single flinch. That calm wasn't emptiness, it was discipline. For Bryson, that Ryder Cup didn't break him, it built him. The rawest kind of lesson, the hard one that never fades. Fast forward to 2025, and Bryson's no longer that shaky rookie. He's bigger, sharper, and battle-tested, built by controversy and calculation. His drives, straight-up bombs. His stats, pure dominance. But when he talks about greatness, his mind always drifts back to that morning in Paris, that first tee with Tiger. That's when I saw it up close, he says. The look, the focus, the weight. That clip of his first swing still lives online, millions of views, endless replays. You can see Tiger's calm nod, Bryson's deep inhale, and a roaring wave of European boos crashing in the background. Two generations colliding, one teaching, one trembling. And that's the thing about fire. It burns, but it forges legends. Fire burns, it humiliates, but it also forges. And back in 2018, under that stormy Paris sky, Bryson DeChambeau learned how to walk straight through the flames. Then came the live divide, because every great bond eventually hits its breaking point. For Tiger Woods and Bryson, that moment came in 2022, fueled by money, microphones, and one word that split golf like tectonic plates: live divide. Bryson's $125 million jump to the Saudi-backed league wasn't just a business move, it was an earthquake. The kind that shakes friendships, careers, and the soul of the game itself. Headlines screamed betrayal. The PGA called him a sellout. But the quiet that followed from one man hit way harder than any press release ever could. Tiger's cut me off, Bryson admitted in a 2023 Golf Week interview, trying to laugh it off, but you could feel the sting in every word. You already know who he meant. The mentor had gone silent. First the texts stopped, then the calls, then those little signs that used to mean everything. The birthday message, the quick nod across the green, the tiny emoji that once said, "I'm proud of you, kid." All of it gone. Vanished like smoke. The golf world moved on, debating purses and politics. But for Bryson, it wasn't business, it was heartbreak. This wasn't about love or logos, it was about loyalty. And in golf's courtroom of morals and money, Bryson refused to plead guilty. This wouldn't even exist without Tiger, he said in 2023, his voice caught between defiance and devotion. Every player out here, Lev, PGA, whatever, we're all standing on what he built. It was wild. The rebel defending the very king who'd shut him out. But that's Bryson. Half scientist, half sentimental soul. Forever split between progress and tradition. The 2023 and 2024 seasons played out like a cold war on grass. Tiger, the aging monarch draped in Nike's eternal glow, became the face of legacy. Bryson, the data-driven disruptor, turned into Lev's lightning rod. They didn't speak anymore, but their stories ran side by side, one clinging to history, the other rewriting it live for the world to see. Their rivalry wasn't loud, it was eerily quiet, the kind that speaks volumes without a word. Yet Bryson never stopped quoting him. "Stay in your bubble," Tiger had once texted during a rough stretch years back. By 2025, Bryson had turned that line into gospel. His mantra, his shield. "The bubble's where you find peace," he told The Athletic. Maybe peace, maybe denial, maybe both. Because here's the truth everyone missed. The LV fracture wasn't just about contracts or cash. It was about heartbreak. The collapse of one of golf's most powerful mentor bonds. And now, as Tiger and Bryson walk their own fairways, one fading, one rising, that silence between them doesn't feel like closure. It feels like an unfinished sentence still echoing through the game. Some friendships don't explode, they just fade, leaving behind quiet echoes of encouragement. Before the fracture, before the politics and the silence, there were those texts, tiny glowing messages from Tiger Woods' phone that meant the world to Bryson DeChambeau. "Tiger helped me out a lot today," Bryson gushed after winning the 2021 Arnold Palmer Invitational, his grin wide and boyish beneath that cap. The advice had been simple: stay patient, focus on rhythm, don't chase distance, chase control. A line that sounded small but hit like gospel. These weren't mentor pep talks, they were secret masterclasses wrapped in emojis and fragments. A thumbs up, a one-word text, a perfect timing cue. "He told me to breathe," Bryson said. And for a while, that was all he needed to win. Bryson recalled in 2025, still smiling at the memory, "That was it, just breathe." Simple words, right? But coming from Tiger, it felt like scripture. Sometimes genius doesn't shout, it whispers. When Tiger's brutal car crash in early 2021 left him broken and fighting to recover, Bryson sent a few messages, short, clumsy, but heartfelt. Like a student trying to comfort his teacher. "You got this, man. We're all pulling for you." He never expected a response, but months later, his phone buzzed. One line, "You already know how to win." That was it. No emoji, no follow-up, just pure Tiger. And Bryson later confessed that single text carried him through the darkest nights. It wasn't just validation, it was permission to keep believing. By 2024, when Bryson reclaimed the US Open trophy at Pinehurst, something almost miraculous happened. After nearly 2 years of dead silence, Tiger finally texted again. Just 5 words, "Proud of you, kid." And that was all it took. Golf Monthly called it the thaw heard round the fairways. But for Bryson, it wasn't a headline, it was home. Fans saw it as a full-blown reconciliation. But Bryson felt it deeper. It wasn't about fixing a friendship. It was about recognition. That quiet, powerful nod that said, no matter how split golf became, PGA, LEV, or whatever, Tiger still saw him, still respected him. He doesn't have to say much, Bryson told Essentially Sports. You just feel his presence. Those quiet digital echoes tell the real story, not of rivalry, but of reverence. A mentorship built not through constant chatter, but through perfectly timed silences. Two champions, divided by leagues and legacy, still speaking the same unbreakable language. Respect. Royal Troon, July 2024. The wind screamed across the Scottish coast, bending flagsticks and testing every nerve on the range. Cameras buzzed, spectators whispered. But among the chaos, two figures stood apart. One, steady in his red and black, the symbol of dominance itself. The other, humming with calm intensity, eyes locked forward, every muscle tuned like a machine. It wasn't just a scene, it was a passing of spirit, silent but electric. Tiger Woods and Bryson DeChambeau, side by side for the first time in years. No handshake, no small talk, just a heavy silence filled with the weight of two eras, both scarred, both sacred. Then it happened. Tiger turned, face unreadable, and finally broke the quiet. Congrats on the US Open, Bryson. 5 words, that's all it took to melt 2 years of ice. Bryson froze for a second, then cracked a humble smile. Thanks, Tiger, means a lot. Cameras snapped like a storm of hailstones. To the outside world, it looked casual. Just another polite moment between pros. But for those who'd followed every crack in their story, the mentorship, the silence, the heartbreak, it was monumental. Within hours, the footage exploded across X millions of views in minutes. Golf City dubbed it the handshake that healed golf. Athlon Sports called it the quiet comeback of sportsmanship. Fans flooded the threads, Tiger smiling again. This is what golf needed. And for once, the online noise wasn't venom, it was pure gratitude. Then came the hug, brief, respectful, real. Two men divided by leagues and choices. Reconnecting not as PGA or LIV rivals, but as warriors who knew what it meant to fight, for relevance, for health, for purpose. That embrace said everything their silence never could. Bryson later told reporters the truth plain and simple. That one small gesture meant the world to him. Bryson's voice softened, that sharp analytical tone replaced by something real and raw. He didn't have to say anything, Bryson said quietly. That's Tiger. He speaks in moments, not words. Behind the scenes, whispers spread fast. Insiders said the two even chatted briefly about Tiger's TGL project, that high-tech league aiming to modernize the game. Bryson, intrigued, joked about teaming up. We'll see, Tiger replied with that classic smirk. The one that always mixed mystery with mentorship. The encounter didn't last long, but its ripple was massive. Fans, media, even rivals saw it as living proof that legacy can still rise above division. For Tiger, it was grace. For Bryson, it was absolution. Under the gray skies of Troon, golf didn't just witness reconciliation, it witnessed resurrection. Lessons straight from the legend himself. By 2025, Bryson DeChambeau wasn't just inspired by Tiger Woods, he was channeling him in spirit. The swagger, still there. But the chaos? It had finally quieted down. You watch his eyes, Bryson told Golf Magic in September, taking a breather between Ryder Cup prep rounds. That's where focus lives. One line, but it said everything. Bryson wasn't studying Tiger's swing anymore. He was studying his soul. Hard to believe this was the same guy once labeled golf's mad scientist. The dude with protein shakes, equations, and YouTube drills that looked more NASA than PGA. But something had shifted, and it was powerful. Somewhere between the booze, the live chaos, and the endless late-night grind sessions, Bryson finally got it. Data could never replace discipline, and no one on earth embodied discipline like Tiger Woods. The change wasn't loud, but it was massive. During a Break 50 challenge with Tom Brady, Bryson even joked about it. I catch myself doing the squint thing now, he laughed. It's weird, I think I've watched too many Tiger clips. Brady smirked back. That's not weird, he said. That's evolution. Tiger's influence had seeped into every layer of Bryson's game. Shot selection, pre-round routine, even the way he walked between holes. It was pure Tiger energy. Gone were the emotional meltdowns and endless over-analysis. In their place stood a version of Bryson that felt different. Calmer, sharper, almost spiritual. He didn't look like a disruptor anymore. He looked like a disciple. Newsweek called it controlled ferocity, the perfect fusion of science and soul. You can't fake that kind of control, Bryson told reporters before the 2025 Ryder Cup. You either live it or you don't. It didn't sound cocky. It sounded enlightened. He'd finally learned Tiger's greatest weapon wasn't his swing or that iconic stinger shot, it was silence. The power to say nothing, think everything, and strike only when it truly mattered. Fans started noticing too. Viral clips from Bethpage Black showed Bryson locked in, dissecting every hole, whispering to his caddy, eyes narrowed with that unmistakable Tiger-like glare. Commentators couldn't resist. They saw it too. The mimicry wasn't imitation anymore, it was evolution in motion. That's Tiger's influence, one commentator said. He's turned chaos into composure. And maybe that's the real measure of Tiger's legacy. Not the trophies, not the records, but the mindset he left behind. Tiger taught a generation how to breathe through the noise, and Bryson finally learned how to exhale. As 2025 drifts into its golden hour, Bryson DeChambeau stands balanced between prodigy and prophet. One foot in the future, one still grounded in Tiger's shadow. The same man once branded golf's data-obsessed disruptor now sounds more like a disciple. Tiger's the greatest, he told the Irish Star, his trademark grin softening into something almost spiritual. We're all just living in his shadow. It wasn't hype, it was honesty. The same Bryson who once called Augusta a par 67 now speaks like a monk, reflecting on the lessons of his master. And maybe that's the truest legacy of all. The student who learned not just the swing, but the soul behind it. The mythic figure who redefined golf still lingers over every fairway, every broadcast, every dream. But Bryson doesn't want to escape that shadow anymore. He wants to honor it. The golf world buzzes with rumors about Tiger's next chapter. TGL leadership, mentorship roles, maybe even stepping into commentary or an official coaching debut. And wherever Tiger moves, Bryson wants to follow. Not as a rival, but as a guardian of that legacy. If they'll have the crushers, he said with a sly wink, nodding to his live team, we're in. It didn't sound like bravado. It sounded like respect. The student reaching out to the teacher who built his path. By now, their story doesn't feel like golf history anymore. It feels mythic. The kid who once sat wide-eyed watching that 2005 Masters chip became the man who earned Tiger's praise, and later, his silence. The student who rebelled against the master only to return in reverence. That's not rivalry, that's redemption. And Bryson's 2024 message, the one that sparked this whole saga, now reads less like a statement and more like a vow. To defend, to honor, to continue what Tiger started. In a sport obsessed with tradition and distance, second acts are rare, but somehow, Tiger and Bryson wrote one together. He'll always be part of the game, Bryson said at a December press conference. His tone equal parts conviction and confession. Every time someone picks up a club, they're chasing Tiger. And for once, that didn't sound like imitation, it sounded like legacy. Maybe that's the point. Maybe chasing Tiger was never about beating him, but about carrying the torch he lit. As the sun dips on 2025 and a new season rises, Bryson DeChambeau, the scientist turned storyteller, stands as living proof that shadows aren't always dark. Sometimes they're the glow that keeps a legacy burning bright. And there it is, the message that rocked golf's golden halls. Bryson DeChambeau didn't just defend Tiger Woods. He rekindled the myth, rewrote the rivalry, and reminded the world that legacy doesn't fade, it roars back. Two men once divided by leagues, now reunited by loyalty. Whether it was forgiveness, fate, or something deeper, it felt like the game itself was healing right before our eyes. Maybe forgiveness was never spoken, just shown. The cameras caught one last glance between them at Bethpage, quiet but electric. No microphones, no grand speeches, just a nod that said everything words never could. Tiger, the legend who built the mountain. Bryson, the student who dared to climb it. Two men who stopped competing long enough to simply understand each other. Reporters whispered that Tiger left early that day, skipping interviews, but Bryson lingered, signing autographs, smiling, almost lighter. That's what Tiger would have done, a fan tweeted, and maybe that's the truth. Bryson didn't just copy the GOAT, he absorbed the lesson. Greatness isn't about dominance, it's about discipline. And in that moment, under the New York sun, golf finally looked human again. By autumn, the narrative had shifted. This wasn't Bryson versus Tiger anymore, it was Bryson with Tiger in spirit. The feud turned full circle, from silence to synergy. Analysts started calling it the Woods Effect 2.0, a ripple that reignited golf's soul. Suddenly the sport felt alive again. The noise wasn't toxic, it was hopeful. Fans began drawing parallels, the focus, the precision, the calm under pressure. Even Bryson's rivals admitted it. He's playing with Tiger's patience now, one said. The scientist had evolved into something deeper, a keeper of the flame. Each drive, each putt carried that signature stillness, the quiet roar that Tiger once owned. Golf had found its heartbeat again. Not in controversy, but in connection. So as the story closes, or maybe just pauses, one truth remains. Tiger Woods didn't just inspire a generation. He rebuilt one through silence, mentorship, and mystery. And Bryson DeChambeau, he became the bridge, the link between old-school grit and modern genius. Their saga wasn't about rivalry or redemption anymore. It was about respect reborn. You can feel it now, in every major, every practice range, every whisper between shots. Tiger's presence still lingers, and Bryson carries that spirit like armor. The student became the messenger, reminding golf that legacies don't die, they evolve. If you made it this far, drop a like, share your thoughts, and subscribe to Golf Swing, where stories like this prove that even in a quiet game, emotions still roar. See you in the next one.